So I just got the brand new Pixel 8 Pro, and after using it for a bit, I think this might be my top pick for the best Android flagship of 2023. So let's start with the design. The Pixel's design has always been slightly different from other Android flagships, and this year is in tone with some of the last Pixels that we've seen. Although this year it does have kind of a new tone, which is roundness. So it's kind of rounded on all aspects of the phone. On the back we have the camera bump, which is kind of rounded off to hold all the lenses. Also the entire frame itself, as you can probably see, is a lot more rounded than previous years, which first I thought wasn't the best thing because, you know, I'm not really a fan of rounded off designs, but this has been really great to hold and use for long periods of time, and especially easier to hold than the 7 Pro. The back has this nice satin matte finish, which is great at hiding fingerprints. I have it in this new bay blue color, which is pretty cool in good lighting. Now, the display on the front also has some major changes. The first thing I noticed when I opened up the phone was the flat display. So if you're a long-time viewer of this channel, if you watch some of my older videos, you know I'm a fan of curved displays. Like, I prefer those over flat displays. This year though, using this, it's been quite great. I actually do like it a lot because there are significantly less accidental touches, especially when I was reaching over to adjust the brightness. Sometimes I've had accidental touches in the past on different phones. Never had that here so far, so I think, I don't know, I am more of a fan now of the flat display. But speaking of the overall screen, it's a 6.7 inch near 1440p display, and biggest thing I noticed with the overall display itself was the brightness. It does get really bright, and it has near perfect visibility in direct sunlight, which is not something you can say about some other phones. I think it's 2400 nits peak brightness. It's really cool. We've also seen, well, tech companies, they've started to name pretty much everything. So this year Google has named their display the Super Actual display. But a couple of things about the display and the battery itself. For one, it's using a 120Hz display, so things are extremely smooth. I mean, like, you know, I don't really got to tell you, I mean, 120Hz is kind of speaking for itself, but things are smooth as expected. The overall UI and experience of the Pixel also remains as one of the smoothest phone experiences, and for me personally, it edges the iPhone 14 Pro at least, as the smoothest I've ever experienced, and that should come as no doubt. That's kind of one of the best things that the Pixel does. The battery life does seem to be much better as well compared to previous generations. Pixels have never had the best battery in recent times, but that's mostly because of the smaller physical battery size on these phones compared to the other flagships. However, I did get around 6.5 hours of screen on time on a full charge, so it's not bad. It's definitely decent, but there could be an improvement if they just increased the size of the battery. Now let's talk about the cameras. This is probably what most of you guys are interested in watching this video for. So, I mean, the cameras, as usual, I'll just talk about how the cameras in general perform. So overall, it's pretty great. I mean, you've probably expected this, as Pixel in the past have had great cameras. It has great portrait mode. It has great colors, great HDR. Overall, it's just a solid picture-taking phone. This year, though, I do think it handles dimly lit areas such as cloudy days much better than any other phone. Yeah, night sight is again fantastic. The images with a subject in them sometimes do go overboard with the contrast and sometimes the HDR, but I didn't really see it's not noticeably bad in some cases. The portrait mode with the shallow depth of field is top-notch on both the front and back cameras. Now, front cameras sometimes on some phones are pretty bad with the portrait mode. The Pixel nails it. This year, though, most of the new changes are actually software related. So we've probably heard of Magic Eraser. You guys have probably heard of Magic Eraser in the past years, where you can kind of just highlight something or circle something and just erase it from the picture. But this year, there are a few new visual edit features and one new audio edit feature. So let me talk about that. So first, there is Face Unblur, which does exactly what it says or sounds like. It basically just lets you unblur the image or the face of someone. So if you have a group photo, or if you have a single photo with you or another person in the center, you can just unblur the face by clicking one of those suggested options and just dragging it left and right. So it worked pretty well for me in my testing. You'll definitely have to try it out for yourself to see if it actually works good for what you want it to do, because there are different aspects of the blur, but mostly it just kind of adjusts it and focuses it. There's also Magic Editor. This is the one that surprised me the most personally. It's similar to Magic Eraser, it just takes it a step up. So when you open up a photo, or if that you've stored on your device, you can basically highlight any part of an image just like Magic Eraser, but this time you can readjust it. I think you can scale it, and you can also move it to a different position. So it's really cool. I mean, there is some caveats to this. First of all, the place where the part you removed from, they do some AI processing, and it gives you 4 different versions of a fill that fill that area in. It's not the best for complex backgrounds, but if you have like a blank kind of or generic background from the place you remove something, it'll be pretty decent at filling it in. Overall, it's not the best, but I do think that this feature will be significantly improved with software updates. Now, for group images, there is actually a way to edit group images slightly more than face unblur. So with Best Take, you can go into a group photo that was taken, and it basically allows you to fix the pose of any one or more of the faces in your group photo. So basically what happens with these pictures is, Google takes kind of a burst of images. So it's couple seconds before, a couple seconds after. It's always how it works with Google Photos. And basically what you can do now is with Best Take, if there's one photo where basically everyone except 1 or 2 people are posing perfectly, you can go in and edit the faces of the 2 people that are doing the wrong pose and adjust it based on the burst shot. So if they were doing the correct pose a couple seconds before, a couple seconds after, the rest of the image and all the other faces stay pretty much the same, except that specific 2 faces or 1 face will be changed to whatever the best take was out of the burst images. I mean, it worked pretty decent for me, but you'll have to, again, try it out on your use cases to see if you really like the results. Moving on to video. I mean, video on the Pixel, for one, is stunning. I mean, I personally think it's the best video on any smartphone, the actual video quality. The 8 Pro, great colors. I don't really have any complaints. Like, the actual video quality is fantastic. Actually, also speaking about the video at night especially is much better than the iPhone. They also have the new night sight video. The night sight video is actually what is helping improve the night video quality and the dark video quality. But I don't know, it's just overall the entire video, there is nothing that I can just say on a high level that can be bad about this video. The reason it's a double-edged sword is because of the audio quality. So yes, there has been significant bumps over the years in the video quality of the Pixel, but the audio quality from my experience over the last couple of Pixels have stayed like noticeably bad. Maybe there are some improvements here and there, but it's still, I just think it's noticeably bad, because the iPhone, the one thing they do really well with the video quality or the video recording is audio quality. Like, it has good audio recording. Even indoor audio on the Pixel that I recorded, it can have a bit of echo, it can fade in and out. It's not the best, but especially outdoor audio, it is not good. And then there's the software. I mean, it's kind of safe to say that the Pixel has had the best software on any Android flagship over the past couple of years, but this year they're taking it a step further. For one, I think the biggest announcement, the biggest thing that everybody's talking about is the now 7 years of full Android updates. So that means, I mean, I don't think people have realized how crazy this is. This means that when the Pixel 15 Pro comes out, like the iPhone 15 Pro just came out, they skipped a generation. When the 15 Pro comes out, if the 8 Pro still holds up physically, you can still have the latest software update. That's insane. I mean, I don't think you guys realize how crazy that is. Some people don't. This surpassed the previous record, which is 5 to 6 years by Apple. Usually it's 5. So I guess that's the new standard. The UI is also really smooth for the Pixel, but I think you guys already knew that. It's great for beginners, but also really customizable for pro users, especially with a lot of the Android customizability. But overall, I think the Pixel 8 Pro is one of the best Android flagships on the market. I mean, the past years, there were things that you could say the Pixel didn't have, right? Yeah, it had top-notch camera system, top-notch software, but it didn't really have the best battery life. It didn't really have the best display. But this year, I think it is safe to say that on all cylinders, basically all cylinders, you have a fantastic smartphone for a reasonable price in today's market, which is $1,000. And for me, it's my pick for the top flagship of 2023. If you think differently, just let me know in the comments. I'm definitely willing to debate you on this one. But for me, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.